Hello everyone and welcome back to IMO Reviews. Today we are discussing The Beekeeper, directed by David Ayer and starring Jason Statham. Hollywood is so creatively bankrupt that we're now making the fake movies that you might see in a Family Guy cutaway gag. You guessed it, Jason Statham is a beekeeper. Of course he is. But he also kicks ass. Wow. What this movie tells me straight out the gates is that with my own personal writing and endeavours with creating scripts, I'm clearly trying far too hard. Apparently, all you have to do is take two things and smash them together. And that's a movie. She's a cocktail waitress, but she's also an assassin. Shaken and stirred. Kicking you in the mojitos this fall. Fuck me, I've lost all hope if this is cinema now. But I can't lie, I do have just a handful of positives for this absolute pile of shite. The odd action scene here is genuinely quite good. Also quite funny, especially when they're very clearly using dummies and mannequins. But one fight in particular in a bathroom was genuinely well choreographed and well filmed. I'll give it that. And the film is definitely trying to entertain you and have a lot of fun, it's just a lot of that entertainment comes for all of the wrong reasons. Yes, The Beekeeper is accidentally hilarious, and several scenes will stay with you for how stupid and funny they are. Some lines of dialogue will crack you up with how seriously they are taking this film. I genuinely struggled to understand what angle this film was actually taking itself at. Because sometimes it feels like it knows that this is utter shit, and it's just trying to have a laugh and be a bit of fun. And then other times it feels like it genuinely thinks that this is a dynamite storyline that everyone will be interested in. When the truth of the matter is it's just some script that was written 30 years ago and was probably intended for Bruce Willis. They've dusted it off, modernised it where they can, and used it to stroke Jason Statham's ego once again. I imagine it must be in tatters after the critical success that was Expend4bles. His accent is appalling in this movie. It just comes and goes to a point where I couldn't even tell if he was American or not. When he says things like, "I've got to tend to the hive," I mean, this film could just fuck off. "I bought her a jar of honey." And then the film just took the words clean out of my mouth by asking him, "Who the fuck are you, Winnie the Pooh?" "It's no laughing matter when the honey jar shatters." It's just bollocks. It's just, who wrote this? Seriously. As a comedy, I loved it. As an action, I very much just sort of shrugged at it and felt like, yeah, I've seen this before. I've seen this done a million times before, and I've seen it done a million times better. But as a comedy, my God, are you hitting me on the funny bone time and time again. And that is just about it for the positives, if any of them even were that positive. So let's get into the negatives, shall we? Where do we start? I don't know. The film itself? He's a freaking beekeeper, for God's sakes. The character is just boring. He is just any other hitman, assassin, mystery man that you've seen in any of these action movies before. There is zero depth to him, zero personality, zero history, and it really is just another vehicle for Jason Statham to flex his muscles. And every time he does this, he just further proves that he's a one-trick pony who isn't even that good at that specific trick. The film may have had me giggling, but it's just not enjoyable enough. It is so generic, it is so predictable to a point that you know all of the plot beats well before you've even sat down in your seat, and you really are just sat there waiting for them to happen. By God, does this movie wish it was John Wick. And I can only imagine that Jeremy Irons must have owed somebody a favour, because why the hell he's here, I honestly don't know. And credit to him, he is trying, but it's a shit character and it's a shit script. They've completely wasted a 5-star actor and given him sweet FA to work with. And what's more annoying is that this film could have been interesting if they just switched the perspectives. By making Jason Statham the main character and following his very boring, bland, one-note routine of just kicking ass, you just create yet another generic kick-ass action movie that will fall into the pile of forgetfulness. But if you made Jeremy Irons the main character and you follow the bad guy who is being attacked and brought down by this boogeyman, suddenly this story becomes 10 times more interesting. Because I'm not kidding, Jeremy Irons' character is 10 times more interesting than anything Jason Statham's character presents. You could have got deep, you could have got interesting, you could have looked at the history of a criminal and what he's done in the past to deserve this. Is he a changed man? Is he trying to better his ways? But no, we're just going to dick about with melancholic scenes of bees and jars of honey. I'm going to give The Beekeeper a 2 out of 10. Look, realistically, it's a 1 out of 10. It's a 1. But would I watch this again? Would I show this to a friend for shits and giggles? Yes. Yes, I would. And frankly, the other film that I saw today was even worse somehow. So I did have to put a bit of a bar between the two. But let's not kid ourselves. This is trash. This is absolutely useless. This is one of the most ironically funny scripts I've seen in a long time, as is the general tone of the movie. But I do think it's worth your time if it's free, if you're with friends, if you're really bored, if you've got some alcohol together and you want to laugh at some terrible dialogue, some stupid deaths, and a shockingly poor and overly generic storyline that you're actually shocked really does exist. Thank you for watching this review. Please be sure to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and please do hit the comment section as well. Have you seen The Beekeeper? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. And of course, if you haven't had enough of this crazy ginger, well, you can always click on these suggested videos right here and get yourself lost in an IMO wormhole. But if not, take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.